Hi, I'm Brant Menswar, and welcome to my show, Just a Moment. As a former world touring musician turned keynote speaker and author, I've experienced my share of life-altering moments that have both broken me and propelled me forward. How you leverage those moments or push through them will define your destiny. Each week on my show, I'll provide tools on how to maximize those moments, as well as interview some of the most successful entrepreneurs, entertainers, and athletes on how the power of a single moment changed their life. Join me to learn how to change what's possible for your life. It'll take just a moment.
What if one of the biggest cultural explosions of the century started as a joke? What if the musical that reinvented Broadway wasn't supposed to be a musical at all? And what if the moment that changed everything happened not in a theater, but at the White House? This is the moment Hamilton was born. Before the Tony Awards, before the mixtape, before a Broadway audience ever felt the shockwave of those opening notes, Lin-Manuel Miranda was tired. He had just come off the success of In the Heights and took a vacation, a rare pause for her brain that never sits still. At the airport, looking for something to read, he grabbed Ron Chernow's biography of Alexander Hamilton. The cashier said, "You sure? That's a big book." Lin smiled the smile of a man who sees a mountain and thinks, "Yeah, I can climb that." On the plane, he started reading. And the more he read, the more unsettled he became. Because Hamilton wasn't just a founding father. He was a kid from nowhere, born into poverty, orphaned young, obsessively driven, fighting his way into rooms he wasn't supposed to enter. A writer who used words as weapons. Lin closed the book and felt this electric recognition. This is the most hip-hop story I've ever read in my life. But he didn't start a musical. Not yet. He just followed the spark. Lin was invited to perform at the White House Poetry Jam in 2009. He was supposed to sing something from In the Heights. But instead, he walked out on stage, looked the president and first lady in the eyes and said, "I'm working on a concept album about the life of someone I think embodies hip-hop. Treasury Secretary Alexander Hamilton." The audience laughed. Not unkindly. They just genuinely thought he was joking. Then Lin started. "How does a bastard orphan son of a whore and a Scotsman?" The room changed. People leaned forward. Barack Obama smiled like he'd just discovered the future. Musicians, poets, politicians, the entire room felt the shock of something undeniably true. By the time Lin reached, "And the world's gonna know your name," they were on their feet. This wasn't a mixtape, wasn't a side project, wasn't a clever experiment. This was a revolution announcing itself, and Lin felt it. "I thought I was writing a song. Turns out I was writing my next 10 years. That moment, that performance, changed everything. After the White House, Lin realized he wasn't just adapting history. He was telling the universal story of ambition, identity, belonging, legacy, and the cost of wanting more than the world says you can have. Hamilton became an immigrant story, a genius story, a grief story, a power story, a what does your moment mean story. He wrote slowly, painfully, word by word. 6 years of excavation, obsession, rewriting, destroying, rebuilding. And when the show finally hit the public theater, the audience understood instantly. This wasn't theater. This was history remixed into truth. Hamilton didn't open, it erupted. It transformed Broadway, brought hip-hop into the cultural canon, expanded who belongs in which stories, created a fan base that behave more like sports fans than theatergoers, introduced a generation to history through rhythm, poetry, and swagger. It won every award possible. It broke every rule, and it never apologized. All of it from one moment at the White House, where a room full of powerful people recognized the heartbeat of the story before Lin did. Sometimes, the people watching you see the truth before you can articulate it. The White House crowd didn't applaud a song. They applauded a revelation. Leadership means listening when others reflect back a truth you weren't brave enough to claim yet. That is the moment that shapes the work. Every life has these sparks. A line you can't stop thinking about. A story that won't leave you alone. A project that scares you. A moment that whispers, "There's something here." When something grabs you like that, the question isn't, "Does this make sense?" The question is, "Why does this matter to me?" That's how you find your Hamilton. Here's your moment today. What idea, project, or spark has been following you? And what might happen if you finally stepped into the room and performed it? Thanks for spending this moment with me. I'm Brent Menswar, and this is Just a Moment.
Feeling lost in the noise of social media? Inspo cuts through the clutter, connecting you directly with real insights from real experts and industry leaders. It's a new social network dedicated to knowledge sharing, industry insights, and thought leadership. Get the latest from top minds in your field, or build your own thought leadership portfolio on Inspo. Already trusted by thousands of professionals worldwide, be part of the conversation and download Inspo Experts today on the App Store or visit www.inspo.expert.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Just a Moment. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast and tell a friend or two about it to help spread the word so everyone can find a moment that inspires them. Don't forget to leave us a review and check us out on the web at justamomentpodcast.com. Just a Moment is produced by Natalie Von Rose and Brant Menswar. For more inspiring shows like this, visit surroundpodcasts.com.